we knew we had a bit of waiting to do. So we went and just had a look around what was going on, and we noticed that every other set of twins had the same clothes on. Oliver and I didn't. So we thought, So we ran over to the department store over the street and just grabbed 2 shirts off the rack. And they were what we wore pretty much to every audition after that. So hopefully the directors didn't think we best give these the parts that have only got 1 set of clothes for it. But we ended up, eventually our number got called, and it's kind of like a sliding doors moment where there was 2 lines for two separate rooms, door on the left, door on the right. And we went in door on the left, and that just happened to be the head casting director, Janet Hodgson. So we always wonder what would have happened if we were to have gone in the other door. Luckily we went in that door and everything seemed to pan out well.
That is such an awesome story, and with limited acting experience, this is the first big film. Did you guys have any idea of the gravity of the British acting Rolodex that you were going to be acting with?
No, in one word. Like, I suppose when you're that age, you kind of perceive that every film is huge anyway. And we just thought it was another film. Obviously the books were really popular, the Goblet of Fire had just come out. So we knew the story. But then when we get on set and before we were even on set, we were sat around the read-through table, and you look around at pretty much the who's who of British acting. And it blows you away. But over the years, it was great to be able to talk to these guys and ask them advice and ask them what the football school was and stuff like that. So yeah, it went from a wide range of stuff.
And you guys have actually stayed fairly close with a lot of the ensemble members, a lot of the guys, Tom Felton, Rupert Grint. How important is it to maintain those relationships post-Potter?
I don't know about important. It's nice to, because we are genuinely good pals with everybody, because it's like when you go to school or university or whatever, you make really strong friendships, and we do. So just a couple of weeks ago we were in Los Angeles opening the new Universal Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal Hollywood. That's the official title. And so we were, again, it was just cool for a load of us just to be together in that environment, but otherwise if we're in the same town, normally we'll definitely grab a pint with each other or play golf or something like that.
I love that. I love that you guys still maintain those friendships. Let's talk about a little bit about the acting challenges. I mean, obviously Fred's death.
Spoiler!
Sorry, if you didn't know, rest in peace. Obviously a major challenge for you guys. Let's talk about that day and how it was looking back when you watched the films.
It was the easiest day I've ever had to work.
Yeah, I bet. No, it was one of those things where you knew that it was coming. It was towards the end of the filming process anyway, and the Great Hall had already been virtually semi-destroyed. So there's rubble everywhere, you've got dead bodies lying around, and for some reason Mr. Filch is there with Mrs. Norris. And it's a bit much. And then I realised that, okay, I want to try and get this in as few scenes as possible, because at first I thought that it was going to be filmed on what's called a closed set, which is basically when it's you, the camera, the director, and whoever else is in your shot. Au contraire, I get onto the Great Hall for a run through, and it's packed. Like there's extras, there's grips, there's tours going around, and guests of guests and stuff. So I thought, okay, I don't want to be standing there blubbering like a little girl for that long. So in the meantime, when we went back upstairs to get into costume and makeup and have the ear chopped up, I chatted to Julie Walters about it, and she said, just make sure you're in character before you go on set. I'm like, okay. And spoke to David Yates, the director, and he said, try and make it real in your head. So go to a memory in your history where you've, I don't know, relatives died or anything like that, and you're quite down on yourself with that shot. So I was like, okay, all right, did that. And then you get on set, walk straight on, and then the makeup girl blows a little eucalyptus spray into your eyes, which will make you cry regardless of how you're feeling. And yeah, we did 2 takes of it, and that was it. Off we went. I went to lunch. James was asleep on the stretcher, and he got up about an hour later. But the funny thing is, though, that since watching, or since that, you get I get loads of random stuff through on Instagram or on Twitter, and it's people saying, you know, is this true? And there's this picture of Jane, of me crying over James, and there's like a paragraph of text saying, oh, it was the most emotionally draining thing he's ever done in his life. They got at the end of it, they both said I love you to each other, hugged, embraced, everyone clapped. Absolute garbage. Don't get me wrong, it was odd, very odd to do, but at the same time I think people would like to romanticise it more than it was. Luckily we were just acting. And yeah, I got the steak at dinner before it went, and James didn't. So
yeah, at the end of that scene, kind of went like this. Oliver kind of finished the. And just walked off, and I was just like left there. Okay. So yeah, it wasn't as romantic as we've been reading on the internet, but which is amazing. So I thought everything on the internet was true. So who knows?
Interesting. That's so true, because I definitely read how everyone was commenting speaking for you, what a challenge it was.
Yeah, I think it's some people who cry about it and think, oh, he better cry. He better be crying in a dark room on his own in this scene. There's people out there who do. But no, it is what it is. But I guess that just shows what it means to the fan base that happened. It was different. Yeah.
For sure. From what I know, you guys both read the books. Yep. What scene do you wish made it into the movies? And it doesn't have to be a Fred and George scene. Any scene.
Wait, it's going to be a Fred and George scene.
Of course.
For me, I'd have loved to have done the swamp scene from The Goblet of Fire. Because I was reading it like, yeah, that's going to be awesome. And then when you get the script, you're like, oh, okay. So that would have been cool.
Yeah, he always nicks that one. That's the one that I would say as well.
Well, your scene.
No, I like the swamp. I thought reading the swamp scene in the fourth book, this would be awesome. But then we learned that the first movie, if they were to put everything that happened in the book into a movie, it'd be 7 hours long.
And how much would we love that?
True, but we'd probably only be about the third movie right now.
It would end up being like 90210, wouldn't it? We'd be like 50 playing 18-year-olds.
Well, that's what Hollywood does. It's fine.
True.
People would buy it. If you guys got to have one magical object from the wizarding world, magic was real, and it is, what would you choose?
I would have a port key, because flying sucks. Because we're just waiting around, and it's a bit windy flying into Regina as well. That was a bit hairy yesterday, but the port key would be my thing, because like you can be anywhere like that.
It would be, for me, either an invisibility cloak.
Good pick.
Or a time turner.
Where would you go?
Well, I would go back 5 hours, about 10 hours from now, put a load of money down on the soccer results in England.
There's a logical answer
Time
for
turner
you.
is paid for itself.
No ancient Greece for you.
Well, you could do that later. Or earlier, if it would be earlier. Something like that, yeah. Maybe not Pompeii though. I don't think I'd want to go there.
That's probably a
at the
good
time.
idea.
Yeah.
You guys, travel is really important to you guys. You even have a travel website. What's the best part of traveling? Why is it important for our young people to see the world?
Air miles. No. I think just it opens your understanding of the world vastly. Like you read about stuff, you read about cultures, but unless you experience it and see it firsthand, you get a very blinkered view of it. You're only getting one person's perception of it. So, as you say, James and I have been fortunate enough to travel around the world with it, and it's just another cool perk to the job. So if you do get a chance to go check anywhere out, life's too short, and the world, fortunately now, is quite a small place to get around. You can get anywhere within 12 hours, luckily, mostly. So enjoy it.
Anything to add?
Well, he's just talking the whole time. to be honest, obviously there's so many reasons, but what's cool about when we do the travelling, especially when we come to things like this and meet guys like you guys, it's great to actually meet the people that have watched the films that we've done, because when we're filming, we only see the crew that we see all the time anyway. So then when you only read a number of how many people have seen the film or whatever, but actually meeting these people is really good perk.
Awesome. And James, you actually worked behind the scenes on the later Potter movies. What do you prefer? On camera, behind the scenes, combination of both?
Combination, yeah. So basically, people don't know, on the 6th movie, we were pretty much contracted for the whole shoot, and that if we could do another job, but if we were called in to work on the Monday, they could call us on the Sunday night and say, we need you to work tomorrow. So that wasn't the best for planning other things. But I always wanted to know how all the other crews work on the film, so I actually got a job as a assistant director, a PA, like a key set PA, I think was my official title. Yeah, I'm in the team. Yeah. And so I learned that you have to get into work at 5 a.m, so about 3 hours before the cast turn up. Then they turn up moaning that they're in at 8 a.m. But I learned a lot on that trip of just how many people it takes to make a movie, the professionalism on what it makes to make it. And yeah, it was a hell of a lot of fun. And you kind of appreciate how many people were in there who actually make it, because I think the last film, the credits were 18 minutes long. So you don't even think about the people who are on there making it, losing sleep, doing certain jobs. But a short way to answer your question, I'd rather be an actor, because you can get in at 8 a.m. and not 5 a.m.
Perfect. Okay, we're gonna get to audience questions in a second here, but I did bring along a wand, and there's such a thing called wand choreography, or wand kind of stage combat.
We skipped that when we were filming. We were actually, James, Rupert and myself we were always playing video games or table tennis or darts or making a model aeroplane or something we probably really shouldn't have been doing. And we went to we're doing choreography this afternoon. You guys should come and have a look. Okay, so we walked down, and there's a big marquee set up inside the studio hangar. And we're walking up and we look through, and you can see a few of the guys just like that. And there's this really he's an amazing dancer, this guy, but showing everyone how to do the moves now. So we're like, so we don't really know. Do you know any good ones?
Well, I'd like a quick defense against the dark arts movement lesson. Your best shot at it. Don't give you that. You did this for how many years?
Right, okay.
One quick one before we get to the audience. Okay? I'm gonna throw this in.
Yes. You do it. You do it. We'll grade you. You show us how to do it. You're swish and a flick. Swish and a flick. Who's good at this? You, come on.
It's amazing. I would die.
Okay, and the spell.
Swish. Swish and flick. Like Hermione sang, swish and flick.
All right, let's get to those audience questions now. We've got some lines forming here.
That's better. That's better. I hate being behind tables. Maybe I should. No.
All right, do you guys have a preference? Which side do you want to start on?
A couple of times today as well, and I hate to disappoint you guys, but we didn't change when we were filming. we changed once in a rehearsal on like a long Great Hall shot, so when you can see like 500 other people on the table and we're right at the back. I think we switched for a rehearsal on that. And we told someone once in an interview that that's what we did. Anyway, the internet being the internet, we've now learned that apparently this report came out that we got caught. We had to reshoot 6 months of the movie. And we got given a caution or something by Warner Brothers for doing it, which is complete nonsense.
Especially when you're playing identical twins.
Yeah.
It's not like Voldemort swap places with Dumbledore or anything else. Probably have to reshoot for that bit.
All right, over here, next question.
Would you rather eat all the bad flavors of Bertie Bott's beans or chase a chocolate frog for an hour?
Chase a chocolate frog for an hour. Hands down. But that was a good, it wasn't even a prank, it was just a thing I did. We went to the Universal Orlando Wizarding World, and they gave us like a goodie bag hamper, and in them were the Bertie Bott's beans. So I gave them to my pal Dan, he's never seen any of the films. But anyway, we were playing FIFA, I know, right? So we're playing FIFA on the PlayStation, and I was like, oh, I got you these, mate. Gave them to him, he was eating them, and all of a sudden he had a bad flavour. And he's Brazilian, so like he just started swearing in Portuguese, or I assume he was swearing. He's like, what are you doing? Is this like a conspiracy to beat me at FIFA or something like that? But after that I would definitely chase. So I guess you'd work off the chocolate frog before you've caught it, wouldn't you? So, yeah.
Is it a hot day? If it's a hot day, I'll definitely take the chocolate frog.
A very creative question for sure. Back over here.
So throughout your years of filming in the Harry Potter films, you were pushed both physically and mentally. Which scene was the hardest to do without breaking throughout all the films?
Breaking. So Quidditch was quite a challenge. But well, simply because it was it's just repetitive, and you had to get it inch perfect all the time. And the third movie, it was in the rain, so you're all dolled up to go on the broomstick, which aren't the most comfortable of apparatus. And so you go on it, and then oh no, we're in the rain. And just throw a load of water all over you. So then you're soaking wet, you get on the broomstick, and then you need more water, so there's someone literally with a sprinkler. That was a bit of a challenging day, I remember.
Yeah, I'd say Quidditch was a bit tedious as well, because you had to do the exact same thing to like the millisecond. So that would be one of them, I think. Yeah.
Awesome. Heading back over here.
What's your favorite part about the movie?
Favourite part about the movie would be when the movie comes out. So when there's the premieres and stuff like that. So I remember the last premiere in London, like the big world premieres, the biggest red carpet, longest red carpet in history. And it took us over 3 hours to go from point A to point B, because we were stopping, signing and waving and stuff with people. But just seeing the reaction of people, and you've worked on these films for so long, and you see the anticipation and everything, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Perfect. Over here.
In the Harry Potter films, which was your favorite actor to work with?
There's so many to choose from. There's a lot. Oliver, of course. But we always had a good time with everyone. In the first two movies, there was a guy called Luke Youngblood who played Lee Jordan, and we had a lot of fun. We're still very, very good friends with Luke. We had a lot of fun with him. Got into a bit of mischief as well. But yeah, that was, I'd say, probably Luke, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Over here.
Out of all the actors in the Harry Potter films, which actor played the most practical jokes?
As bad as it is, you're probably looking at them both. Well, no, tell it like Rupert was in on it as well. Yeah, we kind of do a few pranks here and there, because it can get a bit boring waiting to go on set. So you do anything from convincing someone her car's going to be repossessed to putting cling film all over a door entrance or something like that. Yeah, it's a load of random stuff, really.
They're normally pretty well thought out plans, because when you're filming, there's a lot of hanging around, a lot. So you need to pass the time. But I can remember one day, there was a guy brought in one of the girls in the Quidditch team brought in a twig from outside and just chucked it in our dressing room. Ooh. So at the time they were planting trees outside, so we went down and these trees were that big, so we got it and just stuck it in her dressing room right by the door. And it's just, she opened the door and you just hit, looking at this tree, just as you hear the head of the studio walk past, that's where that tree's gone! What so it was yeah, I don't think we even admitted to that.
Awesome, okay, heading over here.
After filming, was there anything you brought home from the set to keep at your own house and stuff?
Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot. They were really hot on taking things on a permanent basis, shall we say. My one prized possession, I've got a bag from the Weasleys Whistling Weasleys on my wall, and next to it is my fake prosthetic lap of ear. Which is always quite fun if I ever have, I don't know, you've got to get a workman in to do something, I don't know, the phone line goes down or something, and he walks in, and he's like, right, okay, follow this telecom wire. What is that? Oh, it's got blood on it and everything like that, it's really good looking. Oh, and there's a massive head of me as well, because to make all the prosthetics, they take a plaster cast of your head and shoulders. So it's quite good, you've got this head of myself. Depending on the season, I'll put a new hat on it, Yeah, I think it's cool.
I mean, if Warner Brothers are listening, I haven't got anything at all, but if I were to, I've got some the money from Gringotts, and each side of the coins are completely different, the detail that goes on really was incredible, so it may or may not have some of those.
Perfect, back on the side.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, if you were to go to a new Harry Potter movie act in a new Harry Potter movie that was also a crossover with another fictional universe, what would you want that universe to be?
Oh, really? They've never really touched on each other, have they? Though Potter doesn't really go with anything. I don't know, they'd probably give the Avengers a good run for their money then. Yeah, I've got no idea. I'll come back to you.
If you guys had to compete in the Hunger Games, would you work together?
It's a bit deep, I got
No, I'd be with Snow. I'd be alright.
We've already done that scene, haven't we?
Yeah, we did that, yeah. He wouldn't, yeah.
Okay, over here.
Out of all of the characters in the Harry Potter shows, if you could choose to be one other character other than Fred and George, who would it be and why?
I always, reading the books, one of my favourite sub-characters was Peeves the Poltergeist. So I'd like to be able to be, let's do that.
Probably Dobby.
All right, go ahead.
Which book and which movie is your favorite?
My favourite book was The Prisoner of Azkaban. And my favourite movie, to film or to watch?
To watch.
To watch Goblet of Fire.
I mean, my favourite book was the Goblet of Fire. Clap, clap, clap. And my favourite to watch would be Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Go ahead.
What was your favorite class at Hogwarts?
My favourite class? It was actually ending a class, or exams would be the favourite. Because I always thought, how cool would it be if you're there sitting exams and two guys flying on broomsticks and let off a massive dragon and fireworks and end everything? That was my favourite. What was yours? Maths? Yeah. Science. Yeah, there we go. I don't know. I reckon. Yeah, I reckon I'll say herbology. I quite like gardening. Why not? That'd be quite an interesting thing to do. I always thought, do you think they ever sell mandrakes as sleeping aids? Do you ever think about it? Like mandrakes, you know, because they send you to sleep with their squeal. How good would that be on a long journey plane? Especially if you've got a screaming kid. Well, I've got a screaming mandrake. You watch what happens. Alright. There you go.
Alright, good.
You can see the things that go through my mind.
Back over here.
Are you going to celebrate St. George's Day in Regina?
Yes, it's St. George's Day today, which is the English patron saint. I'm going to celebrate it with some maple syrup.
Over here.
Would you rather fight a basilisk for an hour or the dragon Harry had to battle in the Triwizard Tournament for an hour? Explain why.
Show your work.
I feel like I should have a couch in my lie down. I don't know. Probably the dragon. So I reckon you could train him by the end of it. I reckon like, at some point you'll win him over. And then you could what?
Flowers.
You could be nice to him, couldn't you?
He isn't toothless. He's a dragon.
Yeah, I know, but you could. It's like a dog, isn't it? Like you can train a dog nicely.
I think the basilisk will be alright. Just go to high ground.
I'll train the dragon, and you can have. It's like a moon.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Basilisk versus. Yeah.
Alright, we have time for 2 more questions. Go ahead.
Did you guys get in trouble for skipping school to audition?
Kind of, but we kind of look at it in the best possible light. Could be worse. No, actually, it was funny. There was quite a few teachers who were just, yeah, well done. But don't get me wrong, there were a couple of teachers who were, you should stay in school. And it's not like we skipped school, you know, we skipped exams to do it. This was like the last week in term where...
Don't just... Like,
I don't think you just skip it for the sake of it.
Like we got a big exam, do the exam.
Yeah. So we left on the Monday, the last Monday of the term. So the last, if there's any teachers in the room, you'll know that the last week of term, you don't care what is going on. Your mind is gone. You do some colouring in. Why don't we watch a video or something like that? So we kind of just did that, and it all worked out for the best. So yeah, it's good. It wasn't like we skipped school just to hang around in a shopping centre. Yeah, we did okay.
Your mind's a weird place.
Let's finish that. Yeah.
Alright, go ahead.
In the books, who were you most upset about, like, to find out that we were dead? Besides Fred.
I was going to say, I can think of one guy. I think Hedwig came out of nowhere, didn't he? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that was sad as well, really. There's a few, really, isn't there? It was all like in the last bit as well. Although Quirrell never gets anything. Who else died earlier?
It's a very big question, this one.
It is a bit, isn't it? Yeah.
A lot of indecisiveness. Last question over here.
So first of all, I just wanted to say thank you for bringing to life these characters that we love so much and so beautifully. And secondly, I wanted to ask how you developed the characterization for these roles, especially given that you had little experience acting. Did you just read the books, or did you speak to J.K. Rowling at all, perhaps?
We kind of just evolved with them, I guess, because you were told, you know, they're the pranksters, they're the clowns, as it were, of the classroom, as it would be. So, but when we were filming, I was the complete opposite. I was really shy, very kind of not moody, but just like I was very happy to be like at the back of the photo, shall we say. But playing these characters kind of made me a lot more outgoing, because you kind of have Fred and George who were shy, so they kind of made you a lot more outgoing. And I can remember we were filming one scene, and I quite enjoyed the attention. So things like this would scare me, but now I'm really enjoying the ego. So, but so I guess in a way we both evolved together, and it was great to just be able to have a character that you could just go with it and just see how far you can go with getting everyone on board, everyone to like you in that regard. And the directors were great because they encouraged that as well.
Yeah, it's amazing when he says that he was very shy. But yeah, as you say, that was like what the characters did. And I think anyone at 14 especially, and you're a guy and you're told, just have fun. Don't take, it's not like you're a serious character, you can be the comic relief. And that was, I think it's about ignorance as well. We were ignorant to the size of the film. We were ignorant to the fact that this is going to go on film forever. Yeah, cut my hair ginger and cut it like that. Yeah, we kind of just went with it. And we spoke to J.K. Rowling about it briefly afterwards, didn't we? And she just said, you're doing great. And that's kind of the only person you need to hear it from. So yeah, it was lucky. But there's some great Fred and George costumes in the room today, I've got to be honest. It's good to see.
Awesome, thanks so much, guys. Bringing it back to you guys as actors, as people. You guys are activists in a lot of ways. You are charitable in a lot of different causes. Talk to us about some of those. You guys even did a skydive for a very special reason.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So yeah, James and I've been lucky to be involved with quite a few charities back in England. One's Help Harry, Help Others, who is a young lad, Harry, who we met, it's a brain cancer charity. The other one's Teenage Cancer Trust. And yeah, there's just a lot of anonymous well child as well. So there's a few cool courses which, through the Potter side of it, we've been very lucky to be able to be part of. And it's just nice to be able to do stuff for us which we don't really think much about, and we take a lot of our health for granted. And when you meet guys who go through stuff what don't have that health, but they've got the films and they can kind of accommodate with that on one level. But yeah, we've just been very lucky to do that.
And let's bring it all back to the community. I mean, there's so many communities in this world, your group of friends, your family, your workplace, and you guys are part of this global community that has literally sprawled the entire planet, the Potter universe. Looking back on it, now that we're a few years out of Potter, that the last film came out, does it ever get to you how much gravity there is to this global community? Do you ever just take a step back and whoa?
It still surprises me how people recognise us. I know it is strange, but in fact the weirdest thing I've ever had happen was a couple of weeks ago. I was in Whistler skiing, and I had my mask on there, my goggles, put like it. In fact, and this guy stopped. Weasley. Like there was nothing of my face on show at all. And it was just on halfway up a mountain. I was like, this is so bizarre. It still is strange, but it's very much what's cool about especially the Potter universe, is that everyone's very friendly towards us, and they're very appreciative of. They just want to say hey and be kind. Like, there's other guys of other genres that we've met who some of their fans are quite intense, but the Potter guys are very, very nice, especially here in Regina. Yeah.
And I think, actually, it's only been over the last couple of weeks that we've learnt about the Harry Potter Running Club, which is like a global thing. And I'd never heard of it, but apparently they do marathons, and it's all like, we learnt about it, didn't we, the other week? And James has promised to do his run. Oh, you've done it? You've done it, yeah. And like, they give badges out, which is great. And to think that you can do that with people you've never met, but you've got a common interest in Harry Potter, is amazing. It's amazing, and I still don't think we quite get the scope of how big and how important it is to people with Harry Potter.
If we came back with a remake in 20 years' time, would you guys ever come back as teachers?
I'd like to think that they do a spin-off. They wouldn't bother with the remake. I don't think you can. I think certain films you can't remake. Like you'd never remake the first 3 Star Wars films. You know, so I think if you did that, it wouldn't happen. Maybe there'd be a spin-off. George's Marvelous Joke Shop.
There we go.
Yeah.
Someone get the rights to that.
Yeah, you can star in George. Okay. And yeah, I mean, there's loads of stuff going on. I mean, obviously they've got Fantastic Beasts going on at the end of the year, which looks wicked. So I think there's always going to be stuff going on. I don't know. Maybe we would do. Maybe we would.
Last question, if fans want to keep up with your work and follow you as you go along, how can they stay in touch?
Yeah, so Oliver and I are on, it's a good flow, thank you. Oliver and I are on Twitter and Instagram, and yeah, Nate. Oh yeah, James_Phelps is my Twitter handle. Yours is Oliver_Phelps on Instagram, and Oliver Phelps, all one word, on Twitter. Telephone number? No. That's about it, isn't it? Yeah, but yeah, what's really cool is that I actually did a small stage show in London, and it was literally like the theatre was about, I think, 300 people. It wasn't a big theatre, and there were loads of Potter fans. I don't even know how they found out about it, but they were in there, they're really supportive. So that was really nice.
Awesome. Okay, well, on behalf of Saskatchewan, we want to thank you guys for coming on out. Let's give it up.
Hello. Oh, whoa. Actually, we were wondering if you guys could help us with something. So we're actually missing a wedding to be here. So we're wondering if I could do a little video, and if you could just say "Good luck, Andy," that would be great. Andy and Gemma, that would save us a lot of grief and a wedding present. There we go. This is a first, isn't it? Right, okay. Hi guys, we've got some people who want to say hello. That's wicked. That's
really saved our bacon there. Thank you very much. Thank you. Go Rough Riders.
Yeah.